Hello Internet, I'm wearing the werewolf t-shirt I got from my horror block this morning and I thought it was only right for me to dress up nice for you, because this is probably the video where you and I are going to part ways and I'll lose any kind of credibility with you, because the simple fact of the matter is I kind of like Howling III, the Marsupials. There, I said it. Don't hate me. I'll keep this one brief, but please, as we run through the categories that I apply to every Howling movie in my Howl-a-day extravaganza, let me try and explain. Almost as if I'd planned it this way. I hadn't. This category pretty much nails down why Howling 3 gets a pass for me, because it's not a great movie, it's not particularly well made, it's very rough around the edges, but if you hadn't guessed from the subtitle of the movie, the artwork on this DVD is not a fair representation of the content of the movie. Howling 3 the Marsupials, I find it very helpful to think of Howling 3 and its relationship to the Howling franchise in a similar way as we've all come to learn to view Halloween 3 with the rest of the Halloween franchise. The werewolves in this are a completely different kind of beast, and let's be honest, it's not as if the rest of the Howling franchise, first movie aside, is awash with glittering examples of cinematic achievement. The Australian-raised director of Howling 2, Philippe Mora, this time gets to write and direct. So he takes the whole kit and caboodle, lock, stock, to Australia. And if I've got one of my many weak spots, let's put it that way, with regard to genre films, and especially the horror genre, is if you're shooting a low-budget horror movie in the Australian outback, I'm probably genetically predisposed to like it, and that's the case with this. It just seems to me that those sort of Australian film productions from the 70s and 80s have a sort of can-do attitude and an energy and a willingness to just go completely gonzo crazy, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. If it's entertaining, it goes in. And damn it if Howling 3 isn't one of those movies. The shapeshifters in this movie, again, walk on their hind legs. It wouldn't be correct to call them werewolves, although some of the characters in this movie refer to themselves as werewolves. In a truer sense, they're shapeshifters. There's one true werewolf in the movie, a lycanthrope, and we'll get to her character later, hopefully. They're an alternate strand of evolution, descended from the thylacine, which is a real creature that did exist, that have evolved sort of into sort of their version of Homo sapiens. So there's no supernatural to it whatsoever. This is just a completely different sort of cryptozoological offshoot of a carnivorous marsupial that used to exist in Australia and Tasmania till it was hunted to extinction. It was the largest known carnivorous marsupial of modern times, commonly known as the Tasmanian tiger or the Tasmanian wolf. Native to continental Australia, Tasmania and New Guinea, it's believed to have become extinct in the 20th century. There's actually footage of this real, true animal within the movie, and the conceit of this movie is that our shapeshifters are an offshoot and an evolutionary product, I guess is the word I'm desperately struggling for, that's run parallel to the evolution of humans from apes and they've got their own culture and they've got their own sort of myth and mythology. And you know, I don't know, maybe it's the magic of the Australian outback and the Aboriginals and their Dreamtime myths and everything like that. But I buy the conceit and I love the conceit. And given that it's not just werewolves again and again and again, I've got to be honest with you, although there's an awful lot that doesn't work about the plot, the sheer sort of bravura, let's do something completely and utterly different, completely original, that at the same time sort of champions the strengths that an Australian production has, which is the outback, the ecology, nature, wildlife, also sort of champions, which is very ahead of its time, a sort of eco-friendly, also an anti-vivisection stance. You can, if you really want to stretch, you know, because you've got these creatures that live amongst us and we don't know, you know, your neighbour could be a shapeshifter, and are they a threat? Should we attack them, or should we learn to coexist with them? You can read that as a theme for pretty much any human ism that has come along in the checkered past of our own particular species. So if you're choosing to be kind to this movie, as I am, the themes of the plot have such broad shoulders that you can pretty much lay whatever you want on them, and the ideas, if not the execution, are strong enough to hold them up, I maintain. Technically, the first sighting is the first shot of the movie, which is an old sort of archive piece of cine reel showing some Aboriginals who have killed a shapeshifter that's still in its carnivore form. But about 10 minutes in, you get some teeth in contact lenses. Then Philippe Mora sort of plays with you and has a bit of a laugh. 15 minutes in, one of the shapeshifters who's left the bush and gone to the city is taken by her boyfriend to go and see a horror movie because she's never seen a movie before. And so we get Philippe Mora being very playful with a movie within a movie called It Came From Uranus. It's not subtle. About shapeshifters, and a character in the movie that they're watching turns into the world, and it's very comical, and it's just, you came to see a werewolf movie, right? Well, here's my werewolf transformation in this movie called It Came From Uranus. As far as kills, that's not really what this movie's about. A dummy gets thrown off a skyscraper. A group of hunters who are tracking the shapeshifters in the outback. One of them transforms and sort of takes them out. But it's shot nicely enough, but it's very bloodless. Gorehounds won't like this movie, and they'll think, "What the fuck? How the fuck is this? How on earth is this a Howling movie?" You've got the nightmare birth sequence because our heroine becomes pregnant by a human man, a Homo sapien man. You get the nightmare birth sequence, which is like a very, very schlocky version of John Hurt's chestburster in Aliens. Then towards the final act of the movie, you get the actual birth scene, which is bizarre. You're never in another werewolf movie are ever going to see a shapeshifter give birth to a little embryonic fetus that, just as with other marsupials and kangaroos and wallabies and the like, the little embryonic fetus then crawls up from between her legs, up her hairy abdomen, into the pouch that she's got, where it then nestles and continues to develop. Where are you ever going to see that? The only transformations to speak of are done in ways that you are already more than well versed in. So a shot of me looking heightened, cut away to someone else, a shot back to me with some fake teeth and contact lenses, maybe a bit of fake fur on my face, cut away, cut back, and just keep adding more and more makeup to me as you keep cutting back, and just splice that all together. What you won't have seen is that that's done during the rehearsal of a ballet, and it's the prima ballerina that's transforming into a werewolf as she's spinning, is that pirouetting, on one leg, and that she keeps turning around and around, and she's more and more and more transformed. The ballerina is one of the MVPs of the film. She's the true werewolf of the movie. She's a Russian ballerina who's defected to Australia, and within the context of the movie it's a political thing, but the reason she's moved is because it had been prophesied to her while she was a child. It would be her destiny to go and seek out the marsupial pack in the outback, pair bond with the leader of that pack so that they could mix the bloodlines and ensure the future of both their bloodlines, both their species. So that's really why she's there. And this actress, I'll tell you what she does with her face without any makeup while she's acting all lupine is probably as good as some of the effects stuff I've seen in the lesser Howling movies, with people who genuinely can't act but are relying on bumpy foreheads and fake teeth. The things she does with her mouth and her eyes and the whole rest of her face to convey that beneath the skin that looks human is an animal, it's either going to get on your nerves or it's going to absolutely fascinate you like it did me. And I could kind of watch her be wolf-like all day. She brings, the only word for it is chutzpah. She brings chutzpah to a role and a level of energy that she needn't have. And you find stuff like this in, I think, in some low-budget exploitation genre or horror movies, where everyone's against the clock, everyone's against the low budget. So if everyone pitches in, there are things that you'll find in movies like this that you won't see anywhere else. So, are you still with me? Have you turned off in anger and disgust and vowed never again to watch any one of my videos and unsubscribe to my channel? If you're still with me, the ride continues tomorrow, and we're back with the werewolves, with a film that I think I've seen but can remember very little of. It's already got points in credit for simply having the brass balls to be the fourth film in a movie franchise and to have the word original in its title. It's Howling IV, the original nightmare.